Hi, everyone. Happy Monday morning. I am Carol Williams with Williams Immigration, and this is another edition of Beyond the Soundbite, where we talk about all things U.S. immigration. Usually, I keep it to whatever's gone on within the past week, but sometimes things take a little bit longer in the Immigration Service. So sometimes we'll talk about ongoing issues. So, the first thing I want to talk with you all about is the H-1B lottery. So, we know that the lottery registration closed last week. So, last week was the last time that you could enter an individual into the H-1B lottery for consideration. This past weekend, starting Saturday, we started to see notifications of individuals that had been selected for the lottery. So they trickled in Saturday and also yesterday on Sunday. So it is super important. You will be notified via your My USCIS account that you set up at the beginning of this registration process. So log in and then see if your status has now changed from submitted to selected. If your status has changed from submitted to selected, you have indeed been selected in the H-1B lottery. This means that you may now move forward, prepare, and file your H-1B application for this upcoming fiscal year. If we haven't received official word from immigration yet as to whether or not they are done selecting cases in this round for the lottery. So if you're not selected today, and if we don't receive official word that the selection process is over right now, then I would continue to check your online My USCIS account. You may also get an email from USCIS that says we have taken action on your case. So if you get that email, also you want to log in again to your My USCIS account, check the status and see if the status of the registration has changed from submitted to selected. USCIS is usually pretty good about giving us updates pretty timely. So it is Monday morning, so we don't have one from them yet. So we'll probably get one fairly soon, and of course, I will keep you up to date on that as well. Next thing I wanted to talk about is visa revalidation, and that is applying for your visa while you're still in the United States, so you don't have to take the trip home and apply at a U.S. consulate overseas. So we are still waiting for immigration to roll out that process. I believe they're going to start with a few employment-based categories. So again, we're still waiting for that. That has not gone live yet. I will definitely keep you up to date on that, but I wanted to remind y'all that that is floating in the background, and I am definitely keeping my eye out for any updated information that we may get from USCIS on that, as well as from Department of State. The next thing I want to talk about is a pretty significant shift in USCIS policy. So when the pandemic began in March of 2020, the Immigration Service recognized that it was going to be difficult for all of us to obtain documentation, not only documents that were in the US, but also documents that were outside of the US, like birth certificates or divorce decrees, marriage certificates, documents of that nature, civil documents, and also just coordinating with overseas offices, for employers was a little bit more of a challenge back in May of 2020 when the pandemic first started here in the States. So back then and since then, the Immigration Service has allowed us additional time to respond to pretty much all of their notices. So whether it was a request for further evidence, or a notice of intent to deny, a notice of intent to terminate, whether we were filing a motion to reopen and reconsider, the Immigration Service had given us more time than normal. Well, that time is over. So that ended March 23rd of this year, so just a couple of days ago. The Immigration Service has now said we no longer have that extra time. So the end dates, the due dates that are in the notices that we receive that are dated after March 23rd, we're just going back to business as usual. So any notice that you get dated after March 23rd, please know that we do not have that extra time to apply. Immigration ended that. Again, that ended on just a couple days ago, on March 23rd. So just keep that in mind when you receive the RFEs from the Immigration Service. So that was a huge bit of flexibility that the Immigration Service afforded us. But that is over now. The next thing I want to talk to y'all about are if you're seeing delays with your filing fees being processed and your receipt of the receipt notices for cases that we know are going to be processed by the Vermont Service Center, you are not alone. There has been a delay in getting those out to us and processing payments. The Immigration Service is very much aware of this delay. They have said that it is because of an influx of employment-based cases to that service center. And so, and also they're, just has sort of overtaken their particular intake process. So they are aware of it. They are working to reduce those delay times, and they're hoping that within the next 30 days, we will see those delayed times reduced and getting checks cashed and receipt notices out the door quicker than we're currently seeing. But it has not been your imagination if you have felt like your cases from Vermont Service Center have taken a little bit longer to have receipt notices issued. Immigration is aware of that, and they are working on it. The next thing I want to talk about is the negative COVID-19 test requirement has now been dropped for individuals that are entering the U.S. from China, Hong Kong, and Macau. You may remember that as their COVID-19 numbers began to tick up, the CDC and CBP got together and then required a negative COVID-19 test for individuals coming from China, Hong Kong, and Macau. So that requirement has now ended. So they no longer require a negative COVID-19 test if they are coming from those countries. And the last thing I wanted to it's more of a reminder that more so than anything new, is that there are different and new, more secure employment authorization document cards that are being produced by USCIS. So these cards have a new format to them. They have more security built into them. So if your new EAD card does not look and have the same format as your old EAD card, that is okay. It means that you have the new version. If you receive the what we're calling the old version, so if your new card looks the same as your old card, that's okay too. The Immigration Service is using up all of their old cards, but so when that stash is done, it's done, and they will permanently switch to the new card format. But they are also using the new card format now as well. So don't be alarmed if your new EAD card looks different than your current EAD card. It just means that there's more security features built into it. That is all I have for this beautiful Monday morning. Again, I am Carol Williams with Williams Immigration. If you have any questions about your immigration case, you'd like some assistance with it, feel free to reach out to our office, 954-903-1337, and we are happy to set up a consultation and help you out. Have a beautiful Monday morning and a